What do most people not realize is newer than they actually think? Home pregnancy tests in the 1970s. No longer do we have to inject the lady's urine into frogs, mice, or rabbits to confirm a pregnancy. The knowledge that it is bad to drink when pregnant only became widely known in the 80s. The word sibling was coined in 1903. Ciabatta bread goes all the way back to the early 1980s. https://n.mwiki.org/wiki/ciabattashitally. Boxer briefs are fairly new to the scene, becoming popular in the 1990s. Having to show ID at the US/Canada border. Prior to 9/11 they often wouldn't even ask to see a driver's license. Tomatoes are actually a New World crop. So when you associate Italy with pasta sauce, you're actually thinking of Italy, post-Columbian exchange, mid-1500s. And actually, tomato sauce wasn't even integrated into Italian cuisine until the late 19th century, so go figure. Edit. Clarification on tomato sauce being used. What hit me the other day? Germany. It was only reunified 30 years ago. Knowing what the sun is made out of. The theory of plate tectonics. It pretty much makes up the entire backbone of modern geology, yet it wasn't actually accepted until the 1960s. Alfred Wegener proposed his theory of continental drift in 1915, but couldn't explain the mechanism behind it, so his theory was dismissed. Over the next few decades, the evidence of crustal movement became undeniable and plate tectonics developed as a theory. It's just crazy to me that geologists were pretty much completely clueless until around 60 years ago. New Zealand. Its indigenous population only arrived there about 800 years ago, despite Australia just across the Tasman having been inhabited for 75,000 plus years. Pluto, the celestial body, wasn't truly discovered until 1930. Only 1 year later, Mickey Mouse's dog was renamed from Rover to Pluto. You're likely to capitalize on the hype around this new planet, but there are no sources to confirm this. Toilet paper as we know it's soft, fluffy, white. Toilet paper that was free of wood splinters didn't exist until the 1920s. Hallways weren't widely used until the 1800s. Rooms would just open into the next room. At-home blood glucose monitoring has only been possible since around 1980. 1908 through 1980, you had to make an appointment with your doctor. Standardized paper sizes. Before the 1900s, documents would come in all shapes and sizes. I sometimes forget children use this website. Machu Picchu. The Tower of London predates it by almost 400 years. The now commonly accepted theory that a large meteor caused, or was a major cause of, the extinction of the dinosaurs. When you watch Fantasia, 1940, and see the Rite of Spring sequence, wherein you witness the extinction of the dinosaurs, you see that it's portrayed as a great drought which was followed by a series of massive earthquakes. That's because at that time, this was the most accepted idea of what caused the mass extinction. The theory of the dinosaurs being killed off by a meteor strike, or the effects of said strike on the planet, rather, is called the Alvarez theory, and was first proposed by Louis and Walter Alvarez in the year 1980. Italy wasn't a unified single country until 1871. Before that, it was a patchwork of small kingdoms and city-states with different local dialects and languages. As late as 1861, only 2.5% of Italians spoke what is now known as Standard Italian, which before then was the Florentine dialect of Tuscan. The knowledge that other galaxies exist other than our own Milky Way in 1925. White LED lights, which were only made possible when Japanese scientists worked out how to make blue light emitting LEDs in the early 1990s. So the blue LEDs that you now see everywhere from cars to PC rigs are also that new. Edit. Should mention Professors Isamu Akatsuki, Hiroshi Amano and Shuji Nakamura won the 2014 Nobel Prize for their discovery. Indoor toilets. My house, London, UK, was built in 1937. It was the first generation of houses to be built with indoor loos. Before then, toilets were in outside rooms. The house I grew up in had an outside loo, and all the schools I went to as a kid had outside toilets. They were fine in summer. I grew up in a warmish part of the UK, but bloody chilly in winter. Diamond rings being an engagement gesture only arose in the 1940 years because diamonds were becoming less valuable and the powers that be needed to not let that happen. https://pricyanamics.com/45,768,546,804/diamonds are bullshit. In 1988, United States-based airliners banned smoking on domestic flights of less than 2 hours duration. In March 1995, the United States, Canada, and Australia agreed to ban smoking on international flights traveling between those countries. The last execution by guillotine happened the year they released Star Wars in movie theaters in 1977. Edit. It wasn't officially removed as a form of execution until 1981 in France. Picasso's death 1973. I'm sure Democrats being blue and Republicans being red only dates back to around the year 2000. 401k retirement accounts didn't start until about 1980. Aka we have yet to see an entire generation actually retire with a 401k. Edit. Wow, thanks for all the awards. Go out and vote while you're all. Women with credit cards in their own names. I think that was in the 1970s. Paramedics. Before the formation of a paramedic program, medical emergencies were handled by police or by undertakers. One of the first programs was started to help a black community in Pittsburgh. Here is a 99pi article and podcast. https://99%invisible.org/episode/Freedom House Ambulance Service/. Edit. Thank you everyone for your engaged conversation, and in particular the users whom have given awards. I'm going through a fairly difficult time at the moment. The information and the interaction of the community has truly contributed greatly to a better day. Grass. It's a relatively new plant. Grass happened after dinosaurs went extinct. Mr. Stegosaurus never nommed on grasses. Edit. I've loved reading the responses. Thanks, folks. It's given me some interesting information. For example, the precursor to grass looks like it popped up just before the extinction meteor bopped Earth right in the kisser, at around 66 Maya. Then, boom, extinction event, which kinda leveled the playing field, clearing lots of space, and resulting in fewer consumers of plants, letting the pre-grass plants evolve more freely into what we recognize as grass. Antibiotics. People in the generation of your grandparents could have died from stubbing a toe. High fives date from 1977. Wearing whatever you want in college. Before the 1960s everyone are required to wear suits and ties and other formal gear. 24-hour news. CNN was the first 24-hour news station in 1980, and even then most people didn't have cable to watch it, so they only got TV news in the morning, noon, 5, 6-ish, and after prime time. Unless something big happened between then. Calling 911. It only started in 1968. In high school in the 1990s learning about basics of biology. The discovery of the basis of DNA structure seemed like ancient history. The people they discovered it were still alive then. Not super new, but the match was invented after the lighter. Sports bras. They were only invented in the late 70s.